Hello everyone, welcome back to week 9. Yes, week 9. I can't believe we've been making so many games since the new year, but we're on game number 9. Just wanted to say a big thank you to all of my supporters. It's not easy getting up and grinding through a game every week, but the wonderful comments and support definitely get me through it all. So what game am I making today? Well, as the YouTube title probably gave that away, it's Fruit Ninja time. So with a staggering 75% of the votes, I wanted to create an arcade game for this week. So what more than a perfect game than Fruit Ninja? If you haven't played Fruit Ninja before, the basics of the game is fruit come flying up from the bottom of the screen, and you have to cut them up to gain some points. Bombs will also spawn, and those will take away a life. As far as I know, you start with about 3 lives, and the whole object of the game is to get as high a score as you possibly can before you lose all of your lives. Here's going to be a quick video of Fruit Ninja just so you get an idea of what that game's all about. So let's dive into my design ideas so we can figure out how we're going to tackle this game. Mechanics. We need some sort of swipe controls.
Swiper no swiping! Swiper no swiping! Swiper no swiping!
And to make this game a little more interesting, I'm going to try and combine it with kind of like a rhythm game as well. So the fruit in this game will make some noise. So going along with some sort of background track, there's going to be some music going on with it. And then lastly, this game is going to be all about getting a high score as well. Features. This game will have some unique music, as well as stated in the mechanics section. I want this game to kind of feel hypnotizing and rhythmic, so swiping the fruits will give off unique sounds, and the background of the game will also be changing like we're in a club. There will be a local leaderboard as well, so when you beat your high school, you'll be able to see it. Art direction / inspiration. So obviously this game is inspired by Fruit Ninja. The fruits won't be fruits in my game. I'm still kind of working on the full concept for them. I'm not entirely sure if I want them to be 2D or 3D, or even exactly what they're going to be looking like. I'd also like a way to cut the sprites or 3D objects in half. I'm not sure if I'm going to have to develop a shader for this, or maybe I can just find a package on the Unity Asset Store. But I think worst case, I'm going to just kind of create the sprites and cut them in half. And then when you do actually cut the object, then I can just instantiate those 2 pieces where the fruit was. So that's going to be kind of like my backup viable option if I can't find an alternative option. Progression. As you start getting a higher and higher score, I want the tempo and speed to also escalate. This is to make the music and colors change at maybe a faster rate and make the difficulty go up with your score. Because this game is relatively simple to make, I'm also thinking of having some customization, whether it's your sword swipe or music choice or background or kind of whatever else that would make sense here. Game loop. Normally this is reserved for the win and lose condition, but because there's no definitive end goal, I thought I'd explain kind of what the game loop is all about. So there's going to be a cool beat in the background that's going to be looping, and then when you hit the fruits or the objects, then it's going to play a unique note or sound. This way you're kind of making a cool song while you're playing to also get a high score. So now that we know all this, let's jump into Unity for my extremely rough prototype and a bit of a proof of concept and talk a little bit about more of the design in there. All right, so we're back into Unity here. As you can see, it's a very bare bones project. I started it only like a few hours ago, and I really just wanted to get down the main things of like cutting the fruits and making sure a noise spawns when you cut them and stuff like that. So let me go ahead and just hit play here, and you can kind of see how it works right now. So as you could probably see there, it had some sort of kick snare in the background, and then every time you hit one of these objects, it kind of played a different note. So it's going to be kind of the idea. Of course, right now it's like very bare bones and doesn't sound that great. So I'm not sure if I want the actual background music to be a little bit more like fully fleshed out and tuned. Or if I do want it to just be, you know, that simple beat in the background. And then for the notes on each fruit or object, I definitely want to make those like sound a lot better. So right now they're all just kind of like a chip tune kind of noise, but those are going to be getting better hopefully in the future. So as you can also see, the cutting works. So you can draw your line render and it cuts through the object. It detects the collision and gets rid of them. As you can probably see, this game has no bombs, score, lives, all of that kind of stuff yet. So it's going to be probably coming later today. And talking about bombs, how do we scale the difficulty of a game like this? So kind of what I'm thinking is after you start getting a certain amount of score, I might start spawning more spawners. So right now these spawners, they just spawn the fruits or the circles. And so I think what I'll do is after you hit maybe like score of 10, then I spawn the bomb spawner. Then after you get to like a score of like 25, then maybe a second fruit spawner shows up. And then, you know, when you get to like 50, another bomb spawner shows up with maybe another fruit one. Something kind of like that, just so that there is some sort of progression in the difficulty scaling of this game as well. Kind of the last kind of talking point to kind of talk about is our customization options. So right now, of course, it's very nothing. So we're probably going to add some stuff for like the sword cut. So as you could probably see, when I was cutting things, it was just like a white line. So probably add some sort of sprite to that, or at least some sort of effects to it, something like that, so it looks a little bit better. I'm also thinking about every time you cut a fruit to add just kind of a decal or a splat kind of behind it, kind of like in the top-down shooter game. Every time you killed an enemy, kind of displayed a splat. So I think that'd be a lot of fun to kind of see your background just be completely covered in those. And speaking of backgrounds, like said previously, we might have alternating backgrounds as well, so different kind of settings. And then I also do want the colors to change in that, so something that's going to be good for that I think would be great. Anyways, that's the start to this week's project. If you have any suggestions at all or comments, or just want to say hi, then let me know in the comments below. As always, consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. I'm looking forward to reimagining this fun, simple arcade game, and we'll see you in Wednesday's midweek update video. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.